guys, so welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for today's video, we will discuss accounting for partnership liquidation. So let's start. Okay, so let's talk about liquidation. So based on civil code, liquidation is a process of winding up the affairs of the business towards its operation. So if we say winding up, ibig sabihin lang po niyan, tapos na. So end of the tunnel na nung life ng ating partnership. So pag dumating tayo ng liquidation, so hindi lang po yan change of partners, madadagdagan yung partners, or kaya naman mababawasan. In this case, tapos na talaga. So meaning, ibebenta lahat ng non-cash asset, tapos babayaran lahat ng utang ng creditors, at the same time, i-distribute whatever the remaining asset doon sa ating partnership. So prior to liquidation, ito po yung mga kailangan natin i-consider as an accountant, di ba? So prior to liquidation, we have the first step. So determine daw the net income or loss and distribute the same to partners according to their profit and loss ratio. Close partners drawing account to partners' capital. So number 2, we also need to revalue the assets of the partnership and distribute the increased decrease to partners' capital account. If you're familiar dun sa number 1 ito, ang tawag po natin dito ay dissolution. So once na natapos natin to yung process na to, pwede na tayo mag-proceed sa ating partnership liquidation. However, ang kailangan po nating tandaan dito, so remember, pag natapos natin to, dapat daw all nominal accounts must be eliminated. So dapat wala na po magre-reflect na nominal accounts. If we say nominal accounts, so ito po yung nasa income statement, tapos sa changes in partners equity. So ang magre-reflect na lang dapat dyan ay yung ating mga real accounts or yung permanent accounts. So basically, ang magre-reflect na lang prior to liquidation is yung ating asset, liabilities, and ang ating partners equity. Okay, so in case walang problem yung liquidation, ito po yung mga major activities na pwede nating ma-encounter. So we have 4. So under 4, so meron tayong number 1 dyan. Una nating gagawin is sell non-cash assets for cash. Of course, dahil liquidation na yan, so we have to convert all non-cash asset into cash para i-distribute sa partner afterwards. Then after selling the non-cash asset, of course, magkakaroon po yan ng it's either gain or loss. So yung gain or loss na ma-incur natin doon sa pagbenta natin ng cash, it has to be allocated to the partners using their profit and loss ratio. So yung step 1 tsaka step 2 po, ang other term po na ginagamit yan under partnership liquidation is what we call realization. Sa accounting, if we say realization, simply means converting into cash. So dito po lahat po na non-cash asset, example, accounts receivable, merchandise inventory, property, plant and equipment, sa lahat ng pwede niyang ibebenta na po yan kasi it has to be converted into cash kasi i-distribute na natin yan sa ating partners kasi putol na yung operation ng business. So if we already done dun sa ating realization, of course, number 3, kailangan na po nating bayaran ang ating liabilities. So ibig sabihin, all the creditors of the partnership must be paid. So dapat po munang bayaran sila kasi kung mapapansin nyo, dun sa ating accounting equation, di ba, meron tayong asset equals liabilities plus capital. So hindi siya naka-organize ng asset equals capital plus liabilities because liabilities or creditors has more priority than the owners of the business. So basically, in time of liquidation, hindi tayo pwede mag-distribute sa ating partners unless otherwise nabayaran na natin ang ating mga creditors. So again, hindi po tayo pwede mag-distribute sa partners unless otherwise nabayaran na natin ang ating creditors. So once bayad na po ang ating creditors, of course, doon na tayo sa dulo ng ating step, which is distribution of the cash or the remaining cash based on their capital balance after doing step 1, 2, and 3. So, ayun lang po yung mga major activities na pwede natin ma-encounter sa liquidation in case wala tayong magkakaroon ng problema. So, kapag nagkaroon ng problem, discuss natin yan mamaya. Pero, kapag smooth lang ang liquidation process, ito lang po yan. Number 1, sell non-cash asset for cash. Number 2, allocate any gain or loss on sale of non-cash asset to each partner using their profit and loss ratio. Then number 3, pay any liabilities of the partnership. And number 4, distribute the remaining cash based on their capital balance after doing step 1, 2, and 3. Okay, sa liquidation, so aside from step, of course, di ba sabi natin kanina, ibebenta lahat ng assets or non-cash assets. tapos i-distribute yung gain or loss doon sa ating mga partners, then babayaran ni ating mga creditors at i-distribute yung remaining amount doon sa ating partners. However, may mga certain cases kasi na hindi mo agad mabibenta yung ating mga asset right away. Pero gusto na ng mga partners na may ma-receive sila na pera agad-agad. So if that's the case, nagbigay po ng ang ating partnership liquidation ng two options. So meron tayong two options or types of partnership liquidation na pwede nating gamitin. So number one, we have the lump sum liquidation and the other one is the liquidation by installment. So as the term suggests, if we say lump sum liquidation, isahan na lang. So isang bagsak. So under lump sum liquidation, all assets are converted into cash, then payments are made first to creditors, then to partners. So ito po yung smooth lang yung transaction, 'di ba? Yung diniscuss natin kanina. However, under liquidation by installment, assets are sold on a piecemeal fashion and available cash are distributed first to creditors then to partners. So basically, under liquidation by installment, hindi mo na aantayin mabenta lahat ng non-cash asset bago ka mag-distribute sa ating creditors at sa ating partners. And as long as meron tayong available cash, pwede na tayo mag-distribute pero kailangan pa rin natin sundin yung hierarchy, di ba? Kailangan bayaran si creditors at the same time si partner. So installment yan kasi nga by piecemeal yung ating liquidation process. For this video, we will focus muna dun sa ating lump sum liquidation kasi medyo mahaba-haba itong liquidation by installment. Okay, so let's have an illustration. Assume that partners red, blue, and yellow decided to liquidate the partnership on May 1, 2020. A balance sheet was prepared as follows. So we have the asset, cash, 80,000, other asset, 920,000, total, 1 million. Liabilities and capital, accounts payable, 250,000. Loan due to blue, 50,000 pesos, which is one of the partner. Red capital, 200,000. Blue capital, 200,000. Yellow capital, 300,000. Total liabilities and capital is 1 million pesos. So as you can see, wala na pong nagre-reflect dyan na nominal accounts kasi ang assumption natin ay natapos na yung dissolution. Ibig sabihin, updated na po yung capital balances. So dahil updated na yung balance, though pwede na tayo pumunta sa process ng liquidation. So based dun sa process ng liquidation, may other information na binigay. Sabi niyan, the partners daw divide profit and loss ratio on 3, 5, 2 respectively. Meaning 30% kay red, 50% kay blue, 20% kay yellow. Another information na non-cash asset daw were sold at 1,020,000 pesos. So in this case, considered po yung liquidation natin as lump sum kasi naibenta lahat ng asset at once, kaya lang nabenta siya at 1,020,000 pesos. So masaya yan kasi mas mabenta siya sa mas mataas na halaga compared dun sa kanyang book values. So ngayon, pwede natin siya sagutan. Okay, so ngayon, ilatag natin kung ano yung mga nangyari dun sa example natin kanina. So, of course, we have to prepare a statement of partnership liquidation. Statement of partnership liquidation should look like this, di ba? So, ilalatag nyo lang po yung mga information na nandun kanina sa ating previous slide. So, ito yan, di ba? So, meron tayong column for each account. So, sa case natin, may column tayo ng cash, other asset, accounts payable, loan to blue, kay red capital. Then, mas maganda ilalagay po natin yung profit and loss ratio sa capital para in case meron tayong loss or gain na i-recognize, madali natin silang ma-distribute. Kay blue capital, 50%, kay yellow capital, 20%. So basically, ang gagawin nyo lang po sa statement of partnership liquidation, ilalagay lang po natin yung mga balances based dun sa balance sheet na meron tayo. So balances before liquidation, 80,000 kay cash, 920,000 sa other assets, 250,000 sa accounts payable, 50,000 kay loan to blue, kay red capital 200,000 and blue capital 200,000, yellow 300,000 pesos. So ngayon, gagawa tayo ng statement of partnership liquidation isa-isa. So yung step na pinag-usapan natin kanina, una, sell all non-cash asset. Tapos if ever may gain or loss, i-distribute natin yan sa partner. So pagsamahin na po natin sila yung sa step 1, di ba? Under step 1, meron tayong sale of assets. So sa case natin, ang cash receipt daw natin is 1,020,000 pesos. However, the book value of other asset is only 920,000. If that's the case, yung cash received natin 1,020,000 tas book value 920, medyo masaya tayo dyan kasi kumita tayo ng 100,000 pesos. So anong gagawin natin dun sa 100,000 pesos? Sabi kasi natin kanina, wala na dapat nominal accounts. So dahil wala na nominal accounts, i-distribute natin yan sa real accounts, dun diretso na sa ating capital accounts ng mga partners. So based of course dun sa kanilang profit and loss distribution. So ito po yung magiging itsura niyan, di ba? So kay Red Capital, magkakaroon tayo ng 30,000 pesos kasi 100,000 times 30%. Kay Blue Capital naman, meron tayong 50,000 pesos kasi 100,000 times 50%. Then kay Yellow, meron tayong 20,000 kasi 20% times 100,000 pesos. Then, ilalagay nyo lang po yung balance every other transaction. So, ang balance natin sa cash now will be 1,100,000. Sa other assets, 0 na kasi nga naibenta na siya. Accounts payable, wala naman transaction, so 250 pa din. Loan to Blue, 50,000 pesos pa din. Kay Red Capital, mag-i-increase siya to 230,000 kasi nagkaroon tayo ng gain na 30,000 pesos. Kay Blue Capital, ganun din, nagiging 250 kasi nagka-gain ng 50. Kay Yellow, 320 kasi nagka-gain tayo ng 20,000 pesos. So since as you can see, ang ating available cash is 1,100,000, tapos ang ating accounts payable is 250,000 pesos, enough yung ating cash para bayaran si accounts payable, so pwede na natin siyang bayaran right away. So yung second nating step is payment of accounts payable or yung payment of liabilities. So dahil sapat naman yung cash, so pay lang as is. So minus tayo ng 250, tapos sa cash, and minus din tayo ng accounts payable ng 250. So, after payment of liability, so ito na ulit yung mga balances. Then, yung third natin, which is the last step, is to pay the partners based on the balance of their partners' capital. So, sa case natin, pwede na natin isabay dito yung loan to Blue kasi si Blue naman is one of the partners. So, payment to partners as is lang. So, bawasan natin yung cash ng 850 kasi yung 850, ibibigay yung 50,000 kay Blue as loan to Blue, ibibigay yung 230 kay Red kasi ayun na yung balance ng kanyang capital balance or ng kanyang capital. Then si Blue naman 300,000, kay Yellow meron tayong 320. So at the end of the partnership liquidation, wala na po tayong mga balanse. So ito lang po yung process kapag wala tayong problema with regards to the process of partnership liquidation. So ngayon, pwede na natin yang i-recognize or i-record sa ating libro para ma-zero out na yung ating libro or zero na kasi nga partnership liquidation dapat tapos na. Okay, so ngayon i-journalize na po natin yung mga nangyaring transaction kanina. So ang kailangan nyo lang po tandaan, ang ginagawan lang po natin ng journal entries, yung mga transaction na nangyari. Sa case natin kanina, meron tayong tatlo, di ba? We have the sale of assets, payment of liabilities, and payment to partners. So to journalize the transaction, this should be the entry. So yung sa number 1, we just need to debit cash 1,020,000 kasi ito yung cash received. Then credit tayo non-cash asset 920,000 pesos. However, in real life or in other example, hindi po pwedeng ilagay mo lang if non-cash asset kung may detalye po kung ano yung composition na non-cash asset na yan. So kapag nakadetalye, i-close mo lang as is. For example, may allowance for doubtful accounts. So dahil credit balance yun, i-debit mo siya. For example naman, merong accumulated depreciation. Dahil credit balance yun, i-debit mo siya. So dito, nilagay lang natin ito sa non-cash asset para mas mabilis lang yung ating presentation. So ngayon, magki-credit din tayo ng Red Capital 30,000 kasi nga nagkaroon tayo ng gain ng 30,000 from sale of the assets. Kay Red, kay Blue naman meron tayong 50,000, kay Yellow Capital meron tayong 20,000 pesos. So, payment of liabilities, madali lang naman yan, magbayad ka lang. So basic, debit tayong accounts payable, then credit tayo ng cash 250,000 pesos. And third entry, payment to partners. So basically, debit lang tayo ng loan to Blue kasi babayaran na natin si Blue amounting to 50,000 pesos. Kay Red Capital, yung balance niya 230. Kay Blue Capital, we have 300,000. Kay Yellow Capital, we have 320. Then credit tayo ng cash 850,000 pesos kasi ayun yung balance ng cash. So kung mapapansin nyo at the end of the day, wala na pong laman yung ating libro kasi nga na-distribute na po natin lahat doon sa ating partners. So, ang kailangan lang natin, ang ginawa lang natin dyan by process, kasi hindi po pwedeng mauna yung payment to partners unless otherwise nabayaran na natin yung liabilities. Okay, so let's have another example. Sa case naman natin, baguhin natin po yung cash received sa ating sale of non-cash asset. So same example pero magkaiba lang po yung cash received. So sa case natin, the non-cash asset daw were sold at 720,000 pesos. So in this case, may loss tayo kasi ang value ng ating other asset is 920,000 pero naibenta lang natin siya ng 720,000. So let's start. So if that's the case, gawin lang po natin yung same procedure natin na ginawa kanina. So meron tayong color partnership, statement of liquidation, May 1, 2020. So ito po yung ginawa natin kanina. So ito yung information. So basically, latag ulit natin. So yung una, we have the sale of assets. Sa case natin, the cash received is only 720 and the book value or the carrying amount of the asset is 920,000. So meron po tayong loss worth 200,000 pesos. So yung loss po natin, i-distribute lang din natin same manner ng profit. So basically, kay red, meron tayong negative 60,000 kasi 200,000 times 30%. Kay blue naman, 100,000 kasi 50% times 200. Kay yellow, we have 40,000, 20% times 200. Then balance, 800 yung cash. Then other asset, wala na. Accounts payable, 250. Loan to blue, 50. Red capital, 140. Blue capital, 100. Yellow, 260. As you can see, wala ulit tayong problema kasi positive po lahat. So dahil positive, so wala pong capital deficiency na nangyari. So record na po natin yung next step, which is payment of liabilities. So available naman yung cash, 800 yung cash, ang utang natin is 250. So pwede na natin yung bayaran as is. So payment of liabilities, negative tayo ng cash 250 kasi babayaran natin si accounts payable, so negative ng 250,000 pesos. So the balance after the payment, so magiging 550 na lang si cash. Wala na po yung other asset, wala na yung accounts payable, pero meron pa tayong loan to blue, red capital, blue capital, and yellow capital. So since positive naman po lahat ng capital at yung utang natin kay blue, pwede na natin silang bayaran ng walang problema. So payment to partners as is lang ulit, ganyan lang. Then afterwards, so magiging zero na po yung ating balance. So ang kailangan nyo lang po tandaan, as long as walang problema, kaya ito lang po yung step na gagawin. Number 1, selling of asset. Number 2, payment of liabilities. And number 3, payment to partner. So sa next video, i-discuss naman natin what if nagkaroon ng negative dun sa isang partner, paano natin siya isi-solve. So, thank you.